Hey everyone, Britt and Chris Carmichael here, bringing you the Elevated Life series, where we teach you simple mindset shifts to create radical transformation in your life. And today's topic is 4 secrets to a better relationship. Whether you're having sex with the person or you're just friends, or maybe it's a family member, it doesn't matter. Relationships are a part of our human experience. So whether it's a partner or just a friend, we're going to teach you 4 ways to have a better relationship.
Yeah, and really, relationships are the basis for pretty much everything. There's a saying that no matter where you go, there you are. So even if you're not, like Britt said, in necessarily a committed relationship or boyfriend, girlfriend type thing, or whatever it is for you, you're a part of your relationship skills. And so how you deal with yourself is going to be a part of, again, how you deal with everybody else.
Yeah, and even if you are talking about your relationship with yourself, these 4 secrets are going to help you to build a better relationship. So say hello if you're here. Thanks for joining us live every Friday. We love sharing our wisdom with you guys. So let's dive in. The first one is to appreciate each other and to show it. This is so important. You might not even realize that you may appreciate your partner, but you're not showing it. So it's really important to show it with words of affirmation or actions or whatever your partner or the other person's love language is. If it's your romantic partner, then you probably know what that love language is. And Chris likes to show his love and support by being there and being present, being distraction free. There's no cell phones, he's always there. And my way of showing love is to buy him gifts that he wants.
Yeah, this is really important though. So
hey Brandy, hey Ann,
how
hey
you
Erica.
show appreciation and how you show love may not be the exact same way that the other person needs it. So you really have to get out of your own way thinking that everyone is the same and start realizing, like, what is it that the other person needs? And if you don't know, which again, most of us don't know what the other person needs because we're in our own head, ask them, hey, what is it that you need from me? And so this appreciation builds into everything. Same way, appreciate yourself. Think about the good things that you've done. Think about the things that you're proud about, and build those things up. And don't just do this, sporadically. This is something that you have to be doing daily. In the beginning of relationships, we get so, it's so awesome. You wake up, you're automatically thinking about the person. Maybe you reach for your phone to first and message them. You're talking about them nonstop to everybody. Oh, I'm so excited. I met this new person and all these things are amazing and yada, yada, yada. But like, what happens when you're like 6 months or a year, or like we are over 10 years down the road?
Over 11.
Yeah, are you still building, and can you still build that same level of excitement, that same level where that person is talking about you because of the things that you're doing? So it's super important to start doing this, even if we all know to appreciate our partner. We all know to love them and all those kinds of things, but it's important to do them, because what we know is not that important. It's what we do that's really important. So make sure that you're doing it.
Yeah, absolutely. One thing that I have started making a habit in my life, and this has made all the difference in how people respond to me, in how my partner responds to me. And I'm going to share this secret with you because this will change the game. If you want people to like you, this is what you do. The first thing you do when you come in contact with another person, a relationship, you give them a compliment. And it's a genuine compliment, not just like, oh, your hair looks good. Like, well, if you hang out with me, your hair's going to look good. But, find something that you can tell they put a little extra effort into, or it's a little bit unique to them, or maybe it just stands out and you really do love it. So give a genuine compliment to every person you meet, and you will build the best rapport and relationship with anyone that you come in contact with. And if someone doesn't accept your compliment, then that's their own thing to deal with. But if you want to start out on the right foot in a relationship, offer a compliment.
And I'll tell you what, where this turns out really amazing is we did this to people when we're in line at grocery stores, and they will open up the line when we walk in the door. It can be packed. It can be 20 people deep in every single line at the grocery store. When we show up at the place, because we do this we appreciate the people. We let them know, hey, we care. The line just, hey, you want to come? I'm opening up just for you.
Yeah.
Come on over here. And it's like, wait, what? Because we appreciate them. It's simple,
yeah.
But we have to do it.
Yeah, and we also shared more on how we became VIP everywhere we went in a later video that we did in the past for the elevated life. So if you're curious on how to be VIP everywhere you go, then go back into the videos in like the video section and find that topic, because it's a really simple one. You have to just do simple things that don't require you to be, you know, a celebrity to be VIP. You just have to be kind. And so offering a compliment is the first step in building great rapport in a relationship. Anne says, my struggle was learning my husband's need for words of affirmation, which isn't something on my list, but it's getting better. And I totally agree with you. Chris and I have a completely different love language. And in the beginning, like every Valentine's Day, I'm like, where's my gifts? Where's my gifts? He's like, honey, I'm here. I'm like, yeah, that's true, but I want a teddy bear. Yeah. So we learned that we speak in different love languages, and now because we care and we want this relationship to blossom, we use each other's love language to communicate. So I will show up and be present, and I'll turn my phone off for a while so that we can just be together, because I know Chris likes presence and not presents, where I'm the opposite. I love presents and gifts. I love presents and presents, so I like both.
And you know, really, and it's not like Britt likes gifts, but it doesn't mean that I have to go out and spend a fortune. It may just be flowers, like every other. Or a card, yeah, a card, flowers, something simple like that. So don't overcomplicate this. It can easily be simple. You know, being with the person is simple. Buying presents is very simple. It doesn't have to be complicated.
Yep.
Yeah, so the next thing, and this is a really, really important one, and that is to let the other person make mistakes, let them have their faults, let them be a person.
Yeah, let them be flawed. Do you struggle with this in always wanting to change or perfect the other person, whether it be your partner or anyone you come in contact with?
Yeah, you know, one of the big deals here is you're going to have to let them go through all of their own little personal struggles, and they're going to have to learn along the way. The same with you. You're going to have to let yourself make mistakes. You're going to have to be able to go into business, and the business may fail. It's fine. You pick up again. You're going to have to be able to, they're going to go into relationships. Those relationships aren't going to work out. You're going to have to let that happen too. So let that person be a beginner. They're not you. They don't know exactly the same things, and they're going to offer that same kind of space for you to start fresh and to not hold you to a standard where you have to be perfect every day. You know, our partners aren't our kids. Our partners aren't our employees, and so we need to hold a space for them so that they can be able to mature and grow in the way that they need to, without being like, well, if I mess up, then they're not going to love me. They're going to take their love away. They're going to be an asshole about it. So make sure you're letting them make all those mistakes.
Yeah, and that starts with you stopping your judgment and criticism. To be honest, in the beginning of our relationship, there were little things that I would nag on Chris in my own mind. I would never say it aloud to him, but I would just look at him and be like, man, if we could do this or change this or do this. And the moment that I started really loving and appreciating him for who he is, exactly the way he is, I no longer saw those small little flaws that were annoying or whatever that may be. And I'm sure you can relate to this too. There's probably things about your partner that you've probably picked apart to pieces that just drive you bananas, but it's really not that big of a deal. And that'll lead us into our fourth topic, but I think we're not done with this one. So
yeah, I've talked to quite a bit of people who've been in relationships for a really long time, and their partners passed. And when you talk to them and you ask them things like, what do you miss? I talked to this one lady, and she said, the one thing that pissed me off our entire relationship was he would not stop snoring. I couldn't sleep. I had to go in the other room. She goes, I miss it so much now. I just miss him being right there snoring just so I can feel his presence. So remember, those little things that nag you might be the things that you really, really miss from that person. So it's important to let a lot of things just kind of slide away.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's funny, but when we were talking about sharing this with you guys, we were talking about what are those things. And when we came on this, we said, allow your partner to be flawed. And I looked over him and I said, what are my flaws? So you have to be willing to be able to look at some of your shadows too, and allow your partner in looking at those shadows too. Because sometimes if you aren't willing to look at them, you're definitely not willing to let your partner look at them. And if they offer any advice or guidance around your shadow work, you might get offended or take it the wrong way. So it's important to be vulnerable and be open, and know that this isn't like a blow to your ego, that this isn't you're not good enough. This is just going, hey, what are those things about you that you know, I can learn to love or accept, or that we can work on together and help, you know, change and shift. Because there are a lot of things that Chris and I had to work on together. You know, when I asked him, what are my flaws? He kind of looked at me, he's like, meh. I was like, I fixed them all. He was like, yeah. So you have to be willing to do the work. Like, if there's something that bothers you about your partner, it's typically something that is bothering you about yourself. So if you have the courage to look inside, look at your own shadows, your own dark, then it's easier to start healing that, and your partner can help you along the way.
Boom. So the third tip that we have for you guys is to go and spend time together but alone. So put the cell phone down. You know, this is especially big if you have kids, and especially big if you run a business. Like, our lives are always busy. We're always doing tons of things, and we want to make sure that our partner never feels that same underappreciation, that like they're on the back burner, which is easy to do because we always get that shiny object syndrome. The newest thing is the funnest thing. I remember when we had a second dog for a while, and, you know, I said for a while, it's because we sort of neglected, you know, the dog that we have. And even though he'd been in our lives, we got this new dog, so it was all really exciting. And he ended up kind of being really put far back on the list of, like, you know, what we were doing. And you realize you do that in so many different ways when you find anything new. And so make sure that your partner still stays at that top of the list, or whatever, you know, relationship you're talking about here, even if it's you, make sure that stays at the top of your list. Don't forget about the most important things. We always, you know, hey, we work on the stuff that sometimes is meaningless, and we need to remember what's meaningful and important in our lives.
Yeah, so we got rid of the dog.
You gotta do what you gotta do sometimes. Cut bait.
Ann says, that's my plan this weekend. R and R.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, I asked him what was my flaws. He goes, well, you could relax a little bit more. But hey, when you're a go-getter, you're a go-getter, right? So spend time alone together, especially if you have children. So many couples get caught up in the parental label and role that they forget that they are an individual soul that needs alone time with themselves and alone time with their intimate partner. So
yeah, and, like, you know, building that intimacy. If you have kids and your intimacy levels have dropped a lot, it's your fault. It's not the kid's fault. Make time for that.
Don't blame the kid that you brought into this world.
We have plenty of friends with kids that stay on that intimate level.
You were being intimate to bring that kid into the world, so you know how to do it.
Yeah, so don't push that to the side. Don't let, you know, again, don't let any kind of other relationships, any kind of your main relationships are the most important ones. So make sure you're putting a lot of your focus right there. That's the important stuff.
Yeah, nurture them. So the fourth thing that we recommend, and our big secret to having a better relationship, is to not let the small things become big things. And that typically starts with miscommunication. One person will say one thing, the other person will hear it and interpret it in their way, and then that's when the little thing can then turn into a big thing, because then you can start getting mad, and then you start getting louder, and then you start yelling, and then this from the past that you're still holding on to and you're resentful about comes up, and now you're mad about this, and they're like, what the hell are you talking about? Why? I didn't put the toilet seat down like 6 months ago. Why are you mad? You know, like, so one little miscommunication, and it's always a miscommunication, guys. It doesn't start, and it's not like some weird glance your partner gives you and you're like, I'm pissed, like this is gonna be a World War III. It's typically something that has been expressed through words. So notice that if you find yourself like, and you guys are starting to battle, just stop where you're at and go, what here have we miscommunicated? What's not working right now? Because you signed up to be in a relationship not because you want to fight, not because you want to challenge each other, but because you want to love, support, and nurture each other. So if you find yourself pulling distant and like getting like, you know, because, you know, when you're two strong-headed people in a relationship, which
it's possible,
you know, it can happen. So you just have to make sure when you start to clash, stop exactly where you're at in the moment and look around and go, okay, what did we just talk about? What did I misunderstand? I think you said something that makes me feel this way, and I want to address that. And then deal with it immediately. Don't blow up, walk away, pout, and not talk for 24 hours to each other, because we used to do that.
Yeah, that doesn't work.
Because we're so tough.
Yeah.
But all the while I was being so tough and ignoring him, I just wanted so badly for him to come in and put his arm around me and be like, it's okay. Like,
aww,
I love you. I'm sorry. And I just stayed all pouty and in the room, and I'm not talking to him. If I just don't talk forever, I'm going to win. No, I lost because all I wanted was his love, and I just pushed it further and further away. So don't let little things become big things.
We have a really simple
Hey,
rule,
Tamika.
a rule to remember this by, and that's that if it won't matter in 5 years, you can't spend more than 5 minutes talking about it. So, you see couples get mad about not being able to decide what's for dinner, and then they talk about, well, you can never make decisions, and you're always having a part, well, yada, yada, yada. Who cares? Who cares? You won't even remember what you ate tomorrow.
I mean, that even happened for us last night. No argument happened. Chris was like, what do you want for dinner? I was like, meh, I just wasn't that hungry. Nothing sounded good. And he's like, all right, well, I'm going to go make my own food. And whenever you want food, you can make it yourself. I said, I think I'll just have a protein shake. And that was it. Like, it wasn't like, oh my God, you're supposed to cook dinner and we're supposed to do this together. Like, sometimes I'm not hungry when he's hungry. He's a guy. He eats a lot more than I do. So, again, that goes back to allowing your partner to be different, not necessarily flawed, but just they operate different. He likes to work out in the morning and I like to work out a little bit later. There's so many differences in our own personal being that this is where this secret becomes so important, to know that you guys can be different and still have a very powerful connected relationship, even if you're not doing the exact same thing.
Yeah, and another deal here too is I thought of another situation that is like, let's say that you flew out of town on vacation. Vacation's going to be awesome. You're going to have a great experience with your partner, but your luggage gets lost. And the question is, how good's your vacation going to be now? And the trick here is like, your luggage getting lost is a small thing. That's small in the grand scheme of life, very tiny. But the reality is that so many people would be pissed the whole vacation. I spent all this money, I'm mad. And then it's a wash. And the reality is to find those things that are currently happening where you would typically blow up, and you blow up at your partner and everybody else. And what you need to do instead is just let it go, because you can't change it. And if you can't change it, who cares?
Accept it.
Yeah, accept it and keep moving on with, hey, we're still going to have a fun time. If the luggage was lost and you say, you know what, we're still going to make the best. I know that the two of us can make the best out of this vacation. Let's just do it together. When you say things like that, instead of I'm so angry and breaking stuff and everything, life changes, and it changes instantly. And again, it's just that simple mindset shift. This is not whiz-bang stuff. It's just very easy to do, but we get pulled by our emotions sometimes, and we, again, forget what's really important. So make sure you're doing these things and reminding yourself in your life, like, what is at the top of my list, and do I treat the things at the top of my list the same way I treat China in the cabinet, or the same way I treat the baseball card from forever ago and stuff like that? Do I hold it on that pristine pedestal so it knows, like, hey, this is important to me? When you tell your partner, and you don't always do this verbally, it's not always that, hey, you're really important to me. It's a non-verbal thing you do a lot of times too. You show it to them. They don't have to guess. They don't have to wonder going to bed at night if you love them, or you're proud of them, or you appreciate them. Those aren't questions that they have. They just know because they're in your presence. They can feel it. So make sure that you're letting them feel that.
Yeah, plus if you lose your luggage, you can always buy new luggage. It's an opportunity for new beautiful clothing, right?
Yeah.
So there's always a silver lining. So don't let the small things become big things, because take it from us, after 11 years of practice, we've learned that we both just want to love each other and to have a good time. So if you're ever not having a good time, or you're ever feeling frustrated with your partner, then there was a miscommunication somewhere. So go back to that root and go, hey, I think I misunderstood. Or, maybe like, hey, do you know you were being a dick when you said that? Sometimes you just got to be honest, and that's okay. And from that place of honesty, that's when you can heal that communication and squash the little thing and not make it a big thing.
Boom.
Woo! Man, I'm feeling amazing. How are you guys feeling this weekend? Are you excited going into the weekend? Are you going to take a little bit of time for yourself, set a little time out so that you can connect with a partner or even a friend? It doesn't, we talk a lot about romantic partnerships, but you can apply this to any relationship. So what will you do this weekend to foster your relationships? If we're talking astrology, now is a great time to just stay inside. You don't need to go out anywhere. Just stay inside, invite a friend over, have nice food, and just enjoy each other's company, because relationships are key, and that's what we all crave. So if you can cultivate a healthy relationship with yourself, with your partner, and your friends, you can learn to have a relationship with anyone you come in contact.
And a really kick-ass life.
And a kick-ass life. Like I said, start with a compliment, and you'll be surprised at how every conversation goes. People just fall in love with you when you compliment them. So start with a compliment. Try that this weekend and see how far it gets you with like good vibes and, connection with other people. Thank you so much for joining us here on The Elevated Life. If you have a topic or a question that you'd like us to answer, feel free to comment below. Let us know what that is. Reach out, send us a message. We love answering all of your questions here on The Elevated Life to teach you these simple mindset shifts to create radical transformation in your life. Literally, the simple act of gratitude can profoundly change the abundance that you receive in your life. So small acts, small shifts in your mind, small shifts in your attitude, and small shifts in your action make huge differences in your life. So if there's a topic that you want, that you're struggling with, you're like, man, I wish I could master this, I just don't get it, leave it in the comments below and we'll be sure to cover it here Friday at 11 a.m. Central Time here on the Elevated Life series.
Have a great weekend, guys. We love you.
Bye.
Enjoy yourselves.